How can you tell when someone is substituting the demonstration of their own busyness for real work that produces real value? Now, we all like to think we'd be able to spot this a mile away, but it's sometimes a little more complicated than you might imagine. Welcome to Moments with Marty, your short, sharp shot of leadership insight to help you stay on track between our weekly episodes of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast. As the world began to emerge from the COVID pandemic in early 2022, I released an episode about leading in the new remote work paradigm. During the pandemic, work became performance art for many people as they pursued that goal of looking busy rather than actually delivering real value-adding work. Now, this wasn't a particularly new innovation. There's always been a fair share of people in the office who did exactly this, appearing to be busy while achieving very little. But for leaders, it's definitely become harder to identify and deal with these people than it was in the past. How can you tell when someone is substituting the demonstration of their own busyness for real work that produces real value? Now, we all like to think we'd be able to spot this a mile away, but it's sometimes a little more complicated than you might imagine. You need to be able to recognise and manage those in your team who are potential Oscar nominees for the award of Best Performance in a Work Role. The organisations that do this best have structured processes for both talent management and succession planning. Now, if the process is well executed, managers' ratings for their people are supported with evidence and robust justification. And there's a clear distinction between performance and potential. Performance looks backwards. What did this person achieve? How did they achieve it? Did it meet the minimum acceptable standard? Was the work exceptional? Or was it below our expectations based on that individual's capability? Potential, on the other hand, looks forward. What is this person likely to do in the future based on what we know about their performance and other observable indicators? Now, rule number one is there is no potential without performance. And it's much harder to evaluate potential remotely than it is to evaluate performance remotely, which is why I am so adamant that remote work is a poor substitute for in-person interactions. Remote working doesn't just disadvantage the team, it disadvantages the individual. Evaluating performance should be done in a structured and impartial way so that it isn't unduly influenced by our inbuilt biases and perceptions. So, for example, we'll always have a tendency to rate someone higher if we like them and get on well with them. There are three main ways to effectively ensure objectivity in performance evaluation. The first is to use a structured performance evaluation framework. If you have clear criteria for performance categories and standards, you can evaluate your people against this predetermined framework. The second is to ensure that performance criteria are multidimensional. Now, it's really easy to fall in love with someone who produces great results in one performance dimension. For example, a kick-ass salesperson. But they may be terrible in other areas like, working with others or, managing outcomes. Predetermined categories that cover the range of performance areas are going to keep you honest. Finally, number three, seek a range of opinions. To overcome your own biases of affiliation and recency and identification. Seeking views from other people who work with your people can be extremely helpful. And this is an area where 360-degree feedback can actually be quite valuable. Great leaders aren't deterred by lack of visibility of their people's work because they lead for results. They look at outcomes, not inputs, making it much more likely that they'll be able to separate the real talent from those who are just expert in appearing to be busy. If you're trying to get a better handle on this, structured assessment tools and processes are going to help you to implement the discipline effectively and make sure that no one is disadvantaged, no matter where they work from. If you want to take a deeper dive into how you can make sure that you have your finger on the pulse, have a listen to episode 178 of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast, Visibility in a Remote World. We'll leave a link in the show notes. I really hope you enjoyed this moment and that it gives you that extra little spark to be a no bullshit leader.